Hey, what's up, guys? If you're anything like me, sometimes you get really frustrated with Football Manager for various reasons. Like, say, I don't know, you had a really big save going on and then discovered part of the way through that you can't actually sign players, or the game ended up firing you because you lost a couple matches, or whatever it is that happened. Sometimes you get really upset and you want to sort of get your revenge, and you start thinking, man, I really wish I had a save where I had like ultimate control and where I can make all sorts of crazy things happen. Well, now there are ways you can do this. You could always use the in-game editor. Now, the in-game editor is fine. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with it. However, the in-game editor doesn't let you do everything, and it costs money, which kind of sucks, right? There's another real-time editor you can have that's made by a third-party company that allows you to sort of to edit your saved game. I haven't done very much with that. That might be interesting to look at a little bit later on. But what I'm interested in doing right now is looking more at the Pregame editor. So we're going to take a quick look over here at the famous Pregame editor. Here it is in all of its glory. My apologies for the screen being really small. It's kind of what it is. This is kind of the way that it was designed, and yeah, it's not beautiful. In fact, there are a lot of things about this that are very, very much not beautiful. I have loaded up a different database. This is somebody else's database that we're looking at, but don't worry, we're not going to look at any of the changes that this particular person made. What we're going to look into is how to change information about a specific team that we might want to take a look at. So we'll go over here, go up. Now, this is where it gets weird, right? Because you think, is there like a search feature? Is there something here to find a certain team that we're looking at? Well, not really. What I've learned is you have to go up to Edit Filter, which is what this little thing says, if you can see it. Instead of Add Condition, you go down, you click on that, and you click on Name, and just write in the name of what it is you want. So we want, what we want to do is we want to be able to type. Let's see if it lets us. Let's try this again. Well, we may have to try that one more time. This is the other kind of funny thing that I've run into with both the Pregame editor and with the game itself, which is that every once in a while it doesn't let me type on my keyboard for strange reasons. I'm not sure if that's a Linux thing, because actually I think I had that problem with Apple as well. Oh, and look, this is the wrong thing. Oh, well, see, I'm in the wrong place. I'm looking at agreements. I should be looking into clubs. Here we go. Now we can go. So you click first on clubs on the left side to look up your club, which is what we're going to do now. Then you look up names, and we're going to type this again, New York. There we go. Searching, searching, searching. We find New York City FC, which is what we want. Here is New York City FC. Now, let's say that we want to take control of this team, but we want to make it a little bit more interesting, right? So there's a whole bunch of things that we can change here that will have probably a big impact on the game if we play with this team. One of the first ones comes up right away, which is reputation down here, which is set default for this team at 7650. The max is 10,000, and I look at this and I think, let's do it. So let's see if we can do 10,000 here for a reputation and sort of max them out right from the start. And if we don't want to do that, we could make it a little bit less than that, but what the heck, and we're going to put them at 10,000 right away. That's the same as what you would see from like Manchester City or Manchester United or something like that. So let's see what happens if we make that change. We can go into other things as well. We can look at change the chairperson type, right? We don't want there to be a takeover. Instead, we want it to be a no election member owned thing, owned by a chairperson. There we go. We can change that right away. We can look into their finances. This is where it becomes kind of fun, right? So in the Pregame editor, yeah, you can make, or in the in-game editor, you can make all sorts of changes to the finances. But the Pregame editor is where you can do stuff that kind of, is a little bit more notable and makes, I think, bigger and more lasting changes to the game, right? So we don't want there to be any minimum salary allowed. We'll take that away. We'll make it so that instead of a starting balance of 30 million pounds, I mean, we're in New York City, so we'll make it something like, I don't know, 800 million pounds. That sounds a little bit better to me. And we'll do a starting, club amount too high for that rich benefactor status, so we'll change that to a foreground. There we go. And see if this lets us do this now. Yep, it will. And then we go over here. We're going to give ourselves a 300 million pound transfer budget, just like that. You can change this to sort of any number that you want, but this is just sort of an example of what you can do. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff here. Give yourself a transfer embargo or give a different team, that sort of thing. Oh, yeah, we do want the benefactor to increase starting finances from the beginning. Absolutely. You can go here and change the sponsorship. So the uniform sponsor now is going to be 100,000. Individual TV deal at £1 million seems really, really low to me. So we'll make this more like 80 million pounds. Maybe that's a little bit better. I don't know what's realistic and what's not, but we'll kind of make this up as we go. And you can do all sorts of stuff like that here and there. You can change the affiliations, so you can go and remove. We're not going to be affiliates with Manchester City anymore, so we just remove them. There we go. Same thing with Melbourne City. We remove that affiliation and make all sorts of other changes. You can change the relationship. You can change which clubs are your rival clubs. You can change who the favorite people are, club legends. You can do all sorts of different stuff, right? You can even add in disliked people. You can sort of create your own world as you want. And this is just sort of the way that you do it. Now, when you're done with everything, what you would do is you go up to File and then Save Editor Data As, and then you would save it as a FMF file, I believe it is, which you can then put straight into Football Manager. We haven't changed any of the rules here, right? That's a completely different topic to look into, something that I definitely don't want to get into at this point in time. But when you look into rules and stuff like that, that's when you have to go through and you have to validate things. As far as this is concerned, though, you can go and you can change all sorts of things from the beginning of the game to whatever you want, right? You can change the home and away jerseys, right? So you look at this jersey. I don't know if that's good or not. You know, we could change that to different colors if we wanted. I'm not going to screw around with this too much. You can change the goalkeeper jerseys as well to something that looks a little bit better. You can change the supporter objectives, supporter profiles. You can do all sorts of stuff with this, right? You can even get into your ownership. Let's see if we can figure this out. I'm trying to remember exactly where this is. You can find, there's a part that has the owner himself, and you can change the owner's name, and you can change information about the owner and do all sorts of crazy stuff like that. So pretty cool stuff that you can get into. Now, just so you're aware, this comes with the game, the pregame editor. When you're on Steam, you have to click on, let's see if it'll let me show you. It will. So I'll show you here what you have to do on Steam. We'll go over to the screen views. It'll just take a second. There we go. There's our screen view, and we'll get rid of this thing right here. Get rid of that. There we go. So you can see this is the screen view that we see on Steam normally. Of course, if you click on Football Manager, that's not going to be the thing that we're getting into. Instead, you want to click up here where it says Games. You want to go down here and change this to Tools. And then once you have Tools selected, then you can scroll your way on down. And what we're talking about is the Football Manager 2023 editor, which you could click on and then install. There's also this thing here, the Resource Archiver, which is another thing that we'll play and we'll play around with, I think, probably at a slightly later point in time. That's where you can change stuff like the sound that comes with the game and all sorts of other stuff that comes directly in Football Manager. So there's all sorts of other fun stuff that you can do. But for now, we'll just mess around a little bit more with this editor and sort of see what comes out on the other side. There you have it. I hope this was helpful to at least some of you. The pregame editor in Football Manager is not easy to use, but once you figure out kind of how to search for stuff and how to kind of poke around and change this and change that, you kind of get the hang of it after a while. And you can use this to sort of spice up your team. You can do crazy sorts of, scenarios where teams that, are way down in the league rankings are given huge amounts of money, huge amounts of reputation and all this other stuff, and just sort of see what happens. Kind of fun to mess around with from time to time. Talk to you guys later. Bye.